Welcome back to Express. 34 minutes past the hour on this Friday. A mother from Ontario has been all around the world, and she took her family along for the ride. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Heather Greenwood Davis is her name. Her husband Ish and their two children, 9-year-old Ethan and 7-year-old Cameron, traveled across the globe for a whole year. The family took time off from school and work in order to visit 20 different countries. They say they're not rich, but they couldn't afford not to do it. Very important lesson there. And Heather and Ethan join us here in studio for more on their amazing journey. So Heather, first question most people are thinking is, how is this possible? It sounds like a dream thing to do, but how were you able to take time off work and kids off school to do this?
Well, it's a misnomer to think that I took time off work. I'm a travel writer. So for me, it made perfect sense to be able to go around the world. We actually hit 29 countries on 6 continents. And for my husband, he works with the municipal government, the York Region Municipal Government, and so he was able to do a 4-over-5 program and had a prepaid sabbatical. So when people ask me about that, how did we manage to get the time, what I think of most often is that you really are able to figure out ways within your own life that you can make it happen.
We had a map that we just showed a second ago of where you guys had been, and if we can bring it back up, I just want to show the little pinpoints. You guys went all over the place, from North America, South America, Africa, Asia, Australia, through even parts of the Middle East there, I see. Crazy in terms of the different places you visited. What was behind the decision to take this trip?
There were a lot of reasons, but one of them, and one that I think was most important, is that we wanted our kids to see the world. We had a real belief that the more that people are exposed to other parts of the world and other people in other parts of the world, the more that they're able to do better things at home, and that it would really provide some context for our kids when they were in school and learning about different things, and hopefully inspire them to study even more.
This is great, the shot of you guys in Egypt with the pyramids, which was fantastic. Ethan, tell me what the best part of the trip was for you guys.
Honestly, I didn't really have a best part of this trip.
Which parts did you like?
What was one of the things you might have liked to do?
I might have liked ziplining in Thailand.
Oh, really? Thailand? Mm-hmm. How long were you in Thailand for?
We were there close to 2 weeks, huh?
Around 2 weeks,
I think. 2 weeks. What was it like being out of school for that long? How did it feel?
It felt like I missed my school, I missed my teacher, I missed lots of my classmates and friends that go to my school.
But you were learning, I guess, on the road with mom and dad. You guys were learning every day, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What was great is that I keep saying is that a lot of the guides that we had throughout this thing were giving them an experience and exposure to things that they probably wouldn't get at home. So in terms of geography and history lessons, they learned from sort of the best teachers in the world that way. And then with some of the other things, math, reading, writing, those are things we could do at home, and now online you can get a lot of that information. So
you mentioned you're a travel writer by trade, and so I guess that must have been a great way to figure out where to go. And how did you decide the route, though, that you took?
Well, you know what? We made a master list of all the places we wanted to go, and the kids were involved with that. Ethan's younger brother, Cameron, really wanted to go to Egypt.
Right. See the pyramids, right? Of course.
Were big for Cameron. And so we made this big list, and then we started to whittle it down. And we actually worked with a flight specialist, an around-the-world flight specialist from the Flight Center. And they were able to say to us, well, you can do some of this, and this is the best way to do it. And so we had a master plan, but we really only booked our tickets into the first leg of the trip.
That must have been so tricky, too, because it's not only you and your husband, but it's also traveling with 2 young children. There's lots of global hotspots that are good for tourism, but there's also lots of political chaos and crisis going on in the world, too, to sort of navigate through and avoid.
It's true. Well, Egypt is one of those places where people sort of frowned on the idea that I was going to take the kids to Egypt. And it was something that we really decided at the last minute, because we had the flexibility in choosing our route to say at a certain time, well, maybe we won't go to Egypt, maybe we will. And I can tell you, I'm thrilled that we went. We had absolutely no problems. We walked through Tahrir Square. There was never an issue, and I just think it would be a shame if we missed some of these things.
We're taking a look at one of your kids on an ostrich.
That's Cameron.
That was Cameron on the ostrich, exactly. Yeah. What country was that in?
That was in Vietnam.
Vietnam. What was your favorite country?
For me, I had 2. Portugal, which I absolutely fell in love with and surprised me. It stunned me. The food, the people, everything about Portugal. And then India. where people said to us, you know, we had planned to do 6 weeks in India.
Right.
And we did do 6 weeks in India, but a lot of people said to me, you know, you'll never last 6 weeks in India. You're going to get sick. The kids will get sick. And I'll tell you, if I had more time, I would have spent longer. It's just a fascinating, fascinating country.
Ethan, what was your take on going back to school? I mean, you're going to be going back to school, I gather, in September. How do you feel about that?
I feel pretty excited to go back to school, you know, see my school again,
Yeah.
see my new class and my new classmates.
Yeah, it was great because we came back a couple of days before the school year ended. So he had a chance to go in and see some of his old teachers and his classmates and that, and it was really nice to see how welcoming they were.
I guess you're going to have lots of stories to tell your friends, Ethan, when you go back to school, right?
That's true.
About all the stuff you went to visit. And finally, social media played a big role in this.
Huge, huge. You know, we along the way didn't know. I mean, if you're going into a country, all you've got really is a map and maybe a guidebook and whatever you can search on the internet. But what social media did for me with Twitter and Facebook was the ability to actually ask people, okay, we're coming into Beijing. Should we go left or right? Should we stay closer to this part? Is this a safe neighborhood? And Twitter, phenomenal for that. People chimed in from all over the world, said, you know, no, stay here, don't stay here, go see this, have you thought of that? In China, we went to a panda sanctuary. And a big reason that we went there is because someone on Twitter came forward and said, hey, you won't want to miss this, take the overnight train, get over there, and go see it. And I'm really glad we did.
Heather and Ethan, thank you very much for coming into the studio today and sharing your stories. Great
Thanks for having
story.
us.
Thanks for having us here.
It's going to be hard to top this one, right?
Yeah, I think so. Summer vacation next year will be tough.
There we go. We're going to take a quick break on Express. When we come back, we'll have more on Canada's call for tighter sanctions on Syria. Stay with us right after the break.